Hi everyone, my name is Audrey and welcome to my channel. Today I'm giving you my July wrap up.
We had a good time from what I remember. Like Bonnie and Clyde when we are together. But we were at your best friend's backyard party when your phone fell in the pool. Had a couple missed calls from your crazy ex, but you said it was cool. Girl, I can be yours tonight. I can be whatever you're missing. Take you to the stars tonight. Like an astronaut on a mission. I wanna take you higher. Let's fly till we see the northern lights. Girl, this could be yours tonight. Fill the empty space in your broken heart tonight. I woke up at 9 without a hangover. 'Cause when I'm with you, I'd rather be sober. I think that we were dancing to a Springsteen song that got me in the mood. And I don't wanna miss a single moment on our journey to the moon. Girl, I can be yours tonight. I can be whatever you're missing. Take you to the stars tonight. Like an astronaut on a mission. I wanna take you higher. Let's fly till we see the northern lights. Girl, this could be yours tonight. Fill the empty space in your broken heart tonight. Tonight. Tonight, I'ma take you to the sky. Tonight, I'm a traveler through time. Girl, I can be yours tonight. I can be whatever you're missing. Take you to the stars tonight. Like an astronaut on a mission. I wanna take you higher. Let's fly till we see the northern lights. Oh, this could be yours tonight. Fill the empty space in your broken heart tonight. 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 Tonight.
So for the month of July, my goal was to read at least 8 books and try to catch up on every book that I was behind on my Goodreads challenge. I was 10 books behind. And now, as of today, August 1st, I am 8 books behind my Goodreads challenge. So it's not too bad. I managed to read 7 books in total. And I'm actually really proud of myself because I keep track of the pages that I read every day. And I try to aim at the goal of reading 60 pages per day. And for the month of July, I've averaged a page count of 154 pages per day. And that's the highest number I've ever gotten. And I'm so proud of myself. I'm so happy with that number. It's awesome. So we love that. So as you know, I participate every month in the Buzzword Readathon hosted by Kayla from Books and Lala. I was behind a couple of months for a couple of prompts. I do it like keeping in mind the whole year round instead of only like 1 week a month. And I aim at 1 book per prompt. I cannot handle more than that. I was behind the February prompt, which was to read a book with a positive word in it. For that one, I chose A Promised Land, but unfortunately, I only got to 40%. It's not that I'm not liking it. It's, first of all, a very huge book. Second of all, there's just so many political stuff in here, and it's a little bit tedious to read at some point. I don't think I need a full 100 pages, e-pages, but still, of him explaining to me like why he chose this person in his administration or this person or this person. Like, I don't want to know all of that. So yeah, and other things are very interesting to me. So yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna finish it. Hope for the end of the year, but so far I'm just 40% through. Then I was behind for the Buzzword for April, which was to read a book with a nature word in it. For that one, I chose Black Forest by Laramie Dean, which was an e-arc I got from NetGalley 2 years ago. And I finally read that one. And this is one of the worst books I've read this year so far. And it's making my top list of the worst books I've ever read. I'm giving it a 0.5 stars, and I'm being very generous. It was horrible. I don't understand it. It feels like the author had a million different ideas and I'll put them into one. My main issue was the technical aspect of the writing, because nothing was coherent, nothing was consistent. It did not make any sense. And transitions between timelines, there was a lot of like going back into a memory and trying to explain for a very long time something, and then you come back and you kind of forgot where you were, and there was no proper transition to help you throughout that timeline. I was confused. I didn't understand where we were, why we were there, when we were either. Also, the characters were so bland. I hate when characters has no personality as their personality. It's the worst thing to me. Yeah, it was trying to be something it was not. The idea of it was not bad, but there were just ideas in here, and I don't understand what the author was trying to do with it. I don't get it at all, and it was so frustrating to read. I just skimmed through it as quickly as possible. I finally got to it, but I rarely don't recommend books to people. I think that every book has a reader for them. This one, I don't really recommend, which is surprising because it's from Ink Press, which is a publisher that doesn't have editors. And from what I understand, they publish books based off readers' requests, and don't understand how people would request this as a book. It was horrible. I don't understand. I'm sorry. I really don't. But yeah. Next, I had the prompt for May, which was to read a book with every in the title. For that one, I picked up Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng, and I believe I gave this one a 4.5 stars. This one is general fiction. I was interested in this book because of the infertility rep. I do recommend it. It's not necessary, I don't know how to explain this, but it doesn't portray infertility in a good way, but I don't think that it's bad rep, if that makes any sense. It does show well the desperation of people who have to go through infertility. I think the writing in here is brilliant because you just start reading and you get to know these characters, and they all seem like good people and good characters to know about, like good people in their neighborhood and all that. And the more you get to know about them, the more it goes and things happen, the more everyone is put in difficult situations that I would not myself be put in. And they're facing tough choices to make. And like, they're very tough choices to make. If I were in their shoes, I don't know what I would do. Probably not like the same choices that they've done. Because a lot of them don't make the right choices, but like, is there really a right choice? They deal with these challenges as best as they can. And like, the more you get into it, the more surprised you get by these decisions they're making, the bad choices they make if they make bad choices. And yeah, I was very happily surprised by this, and I strongly recommend. I am interested into checking out this series. I don't have Hulu, but I'll try to get to it just for the series and see what that has in store for me. Next, I had the prompt for June, which was to read a book with a repeat word in it. For that one, I chose As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson, but unfortunately I didn't get to it. Haven't started it yet. So I'll be rolling that one over into August. And finally, the prompt for July was to read a book with a measurement word in it. And for that one, I chose The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. This one is a reread, and I reread it so fast. This was a favorite of mine, and if you've seen my previous videos, it is also my all-time favorite book. I gave this on a reread another 6 stars. It's just so amazing, so brilliant. I cannot wait to get to the other books in this trilogy. If you're interested, I am doing a dedicated vlog. So if you want all of my thoughts into the reread and the reading of the next 2 books that I haven't read yet, stay tuned for when that vlog gets out. But I strongly recommend this book. Next, I also participate in the Choose Your Own Adventure readathon hosted by G from Book Roast. They are additional quests to the Aurelium that happen twice a year. I was also a couple of prompts behind for this readathon. For the prompt of February, it was to read a book that had 100 pages more than your average page count. And for that one, I also chose A Promised Land by Barack Obama. Unfortunately, I didn't get to it more than 40%. So I am going to be rolling that prompt into August as well. For the month of May, the prompt was to read a book that had multiple L's in it. So for that one, I picked Little Fires Everywhere. And as I've talked about it before, I'm going to move on to the next one. For June, the prompt was to read a book you've had for ages. For that one, I chose Stormland by John Shirley. This was an e-arc I had 2 years ago, and I finally got to put my review in 2 years later. Better late than never, I guess. I was pleasantly surprised by this book. I picked it up because it was marketed as an adult dystopian novel, and it did not disappoint at all. I loved the atmosphere. I think that's the best feature of this book, is how the author really created this amazing ambience, and you can feel the storm on your skin. I had shivers at time while reading this. So the ambience was really there, and it was so immersive. I didn't say what it was about, but you do follow this ex-US Marshal into this specific land where there's storms all over and it never stops. You do have like some lull moments, but it's never like completely in a stop. And it's just one storm after the other, and they're like huge storms. So basically you have refugees and criminals and like people like that, or people who don't have anywhere else to go that stay there. And basically the authorities don't bat an eye to it. They don't do anything at all to help people there. They just pretend it doesn't exist. So people who live there pretty much do their own thing, their own laws and stuff. And they're trying also to find a murderer that might be there. So I thought like the technology, the dystopian aspect of it, the detective mystery aspect of it was a good mix. And it was very interesting, and how the technology was included in here. I thought that the villains were a little bit stereotypical, and so much that by the end, I felt like it was almost comical. It was almost funny, and I don't know if it was intended by the author. So that kind of bothered me at the end, how it like ended, the last bit. But other than that, that's the only critique that I would have in this book. It was really good, and I gave it a 4 stars. And finally, the prompt for July was to read a book that was a friend's favorite. For that one, I had 2 titles, and I've read both. Can you imagine? Who am I? So the first one was The Honey Witch by Sydney J. Shields. This one was recommended to me by Paco from Bad Witch Books. And this is a romantasy. I felt like it was a very cozy fantasy romance, also historical, and it was so good. I was not expecting this at all. If you know me, you know I don't like romance books, but this one was so cute. It was nice and cozy, And the magic system was very different. It's not something that I've read that much about, and was very nature grounded as a magical system, which I love. And relationships between the characters were amazing. I loved the chemistry between some of the characters. I think the bond of our main character with her grandmother was adorable. So many good things in here, and it was very cozy. So I don't know if it's categorized as a cozy fantasy romance, but I'm putting that word in there because that's how I felt while I was reading it, and I'm really happy that I got to it and that Paco, you recommended it to me. I gave it a 4 stars. And the other book I had for that prompt was Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikatsu Kawaguchi, which was recommended to me and gifted to me by Asma. And thank you so much for getting this to me. I love this book so much. So much. Be careful if you go into it. It's about this very small cafe in which you can go travel through time, and you only have the amount of time it takes you to drink the coffee before it gets cold. And then if you don't, you become a ghost. So you don't have basically a lot of time. There's like a whole set of rules that you have to follow, but this was so wholesome. And it's not necessarily like one story that we're following a main character and that's it. That's not exactly how it works. It's more like we're following these employees of the cafe or strangers, clients, customers that do come in the cafe and do want to travel. And it talks a lot about grief. So be careful if you want to go into it because you do need to be in the right mindset. But I cried and I loved it so much. If you are looking for a book that will make you cry, this is the one to go. And finally, the last book I read this month was Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb. I finally finished this book and I gave it a 5 stars. I'm not going to talk much about it because it is the end of a trilogy, the first trilogy of the Elder Rings realm. And I love it so much. I love it. I love these characters. And as I've said in my vlogs, I feel like the whole entirety of the books and my appreciation of them is bigger than my appreciation of each individual book, if that makes any sense at all. So I gave, I think, the first book, Assassin's Apprentice, 4 stars, Royal Assassin 4.5, and Assassin's Quest 5 stars. But I wouldn't be able to give Assassin's Quest 5 stars if it wasn't for all of the setup that was built from book number 1 in Assassin's Apprentice. I wouldn't be able to get to that point if it wasn't for everything that was there before. So that's why I say, like, I feel like this series is bigger than the sum of its individual. How do you say that expression? I never know how to say that, but that's what I mean. Anyways, amazing. I was in all sorts of emotions, but I have read Fool's Assassins, which is the last trilogy of the whole realm, and I know some things. So I'm not as devastated as I would have been having not read Fool's Assassin, maybe. But yeah, some things make me a little bit sad, kind of, I have to admit. But I'm also relieved. It's just a whole bunch of emotions put in like one salad, and here it goes. Anyways, really loved it. If you're looking to get into a long epic fantasy, I think I would strongly recommend Robin Hobb's books, but be careful in what order you read them because one can spoil the other, as I've learned. But you can still understand what's going on if you pick up like Fool's Assassins, for example, and you haven't read before. You can still understand what's going on and how the world works and all of that stuff. But if you want to go back, I feel like you kind of spoil yourself a little bit there. But yeah, and that is it for me. That was my July wrap up. I'm overall so happy with the reading I've done and how my July reading month went. Let me know how your reading month was. I would love to know. Like, comment, subscribe if you wish. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video, and I will see you soon in the next one. Bye!